Lakers have arrived as great as they've been in the bubble. The one thing they have not done is win game one of a series. LeBron and company hope to change that tonight. Love the short game. It's game one of the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets in this best-of-7 series. Games at 6. Lakers are just 4 wins away from a trip back to the NBA Finals. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Robert Ory. Allie Clifton is in the house. Brez working remote. Trudell is here as well. The Lakers, for the first time in 10 years, first time in our network's 8-year history, are back in the Western Conference Finals. How does that sound to you two?
You know how it sounds to us, Geeter.
Sounds G-O-O-D.
It's been a long time. It sounds great. Considering, when you look at last season, LeBron James only played 55 games. You know, not that they were favored to win the championships, but they were, favored to get in the playoffs, and that didn't happen. So to fast forward to this season, bringing in AD, and building that chemistry up until everything stopped, and then trying to regain it in the bubble, which they have. Defensively, they have, and now they're starting to pick it up. I think it's amazing that they've been able, along with other teams, have been able to keep their mental capacity in the bubble. I just give them an A+ for achieving that, and then playing the way they are.
Great point by James. Here we are in mid-September, Rob. It's not an easy road with a lot going on.
No, it's not easy. This is so weird because this is the time guys start training
to get ready for
the season. And now they're in the bubble fighting for an NBA championship. And I think what's been most impressive is that the Lakers have been able to adapt. And that's all about adapting in the playoffs, because you're going to be hit with a lot of things. And they're hitting with a lot of different circumstances in this case, being in the bubble, not being around their family, being broken up from their normal routine. But yet they're still adapting and they're learning. They have a game. They might lose game one or they might lose a game, but they adjust. And that's what the playoffs is about, adjusting and be able to come out on top.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Lakers advanced to the Western Conference Finals 6 days ago after eliminating the Houston Rockets in 5 games, and this marks the 41st time they've appeared in the conference finals. That is the most in NBA history. The Celtics in second with 36. Now, Jokic and Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, beat the Clippers in 7 games, so they are the first team in NBA history to come back from 3-1 twice. Jamal Murray had 40 points. The Joker had a triple-double, 16 points, 22 rebounds, 13 assists. Their 2 stars came to play in that game 7. Here's how the duos stack up. 2 of the top duos, you guys, in the NBA. Murray at 27, Jokic 25, LeBron just under 27, and Anthony Davis at 27.5. All shooting great percentages, all doing everything. The 6.4 assists, 8.8 for LeBron, 6 assists for Jokic, 11 rebounds for Anthony Davis. The entire playoffs, James, both sets of stars have stepped up big time for their teams. Now, LeBron's the only one that's been in a conference final. What do you expect from these 4 guys?
Well, a continuation, of what they've been doing. When you advance this far, it's not by accident. Let's give Denver credit. I mean, to come back, from 3-1 deficits twice, that's almost undoable, but they've done it. And, and they stated, look, media, Lakers have to worry about us too. Offensively, that everything is the heart, is Jokic. But Rob, don't let the defense fool you, because they play some pretty good defense against the Clippers, especially in that 4th quarter. So they do it on both ends. So it's going to be a challenge. But I think the Lakers are up to it, given how they played Harden and how were they able to adapt to, small ball. I think our guards, the problem is going to be, can we neutralize the big guy?
Well, I think, when you look at the way the Clippers played Denver, they didn't have any bigs. They had a 6'8" guy trying to guard Jokic, and that's not going to work because Jokic is too smart, too talented, too crafty. But then you look at it, when they try to double team, you have to worry about a guy like Jamal and then Harris, and even the guy who's not supposed to hit threes, Grant, is hitting threes. So they're playing extremely well right now at a high level. And we always talk about offense and what these guys are doing, but they are playing, like James said, good defense.
Yeah.
Grant is locking guys down. Millsap is locking guys down. Of course, Jokic, even though he's not going to block shots, he's a big body that clogs up the lane.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. We've been saying it for 3 days on this show. The Denver Nuggets deserve to be here. They're here for a reason. Last year, they were a game away from the Western Conference Finals, and you're going to actually break down Jokic in an Access 360 later in the show. But I do want to show you this. I do want to show you guys this. Jokic and Murray, in terms of playoff minutes in 2020, first and second in the NBA, 548, 527. Look at LeBron and AD, just 342 and 349 respectively. That's 28th and 25th in the NBA. Does arrested LeBron and AD, does that give them the edge, or does this not matter, Rob?
You know, I really don't think it matters.
Rob.
I don't think it matters because you can look at it one way. Like, these guys are playing a lot of minutes, so they got a good rhythm. And if you watch the Denver Nuggets play together, they have a great rhythm. You know, you see guys with a good rhythm. These guys have a great rhythm, great rapport. They know each other going to be on the court. And you look at what happened with the Lakers in the game one with the Rocket series. They came out lethargic. They wasn't in the rhythm, and it took them like a game to get started. And, you know, hopefully that doesn't happen. You can't do this with a Denver Nugget team because when Denver gets a win, it's like they like sharks. They smell blood in the water and they keep attacking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, James, 6 times this playoff run, the Denver Nuggets have literally have their bags packed in the plane gas to leave that night, and they are 6-0 in those games. So I don't know if rest even matters.
It's the true meaning of just one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
When the Clippers were down 3-1, when they had that lead 3-1, and I was saying, you know, you have to close out. You can't allow it to get to 3-2 because subconsciously the pressure starts building. And God forbid they win and force a game 7, then all the momentum. You can't get that back. It's hard to regain that. So, you know, it's not by accident. You know, they were seeded, I think, 2 last year, Geeter, you know, and I think they were pretty good before all this lockdown. So, you know, everybody was talking about who was going to be in the finals or the Western Conference Finals, but Denver, you know, they got the job done early, and they're still, you know, in the process of trying to do it.
Speaking of pressure, try having twin boys that are very active in a brand new baby at home. Mike Trudell, Lakers reporter, checking in. Press nothing. You didn't melt under the pressure, did you?
I call that nothing but a blessing. Now, when I'm here in the studio and my wife is alone with all 3,
that's pressure.
That would be more difficult for most people, but not her. She's a superhero, so she's got that thing on lock. Now, Geeter, it was interesting you brought up the 4 stars, kind of the 2 on either side. In the offensive rating for LeBron, AD, and then Jokic and Murray, very similar, right? All between 117 and 115 for these playoff games that we've had so far. But defense is where things flip. LeBron and AD, still excellent on that end. That's where Jokic and Murray slip a little bit. So I wonder if that could be the ultimate difference in the series. And so in thinking about that in the bigger picture, I want to get Frank Vogel's thought on the defense from where he brought his mindset when he got the job. And again, not too long ago, this is his first year with the Lakers, and how he thinks that's evolved throughout the year. So that's where we started with the head coach a couple moments ago.
You know, the number one thing for us with our size was to try to create a defense that and didn't allow the modern NBA offense to invert us too much. And, you know, I really like how the plan has taken form, but also developed throughout the course of the year, where, you know, obviously in this league, there's a lot of switching required. You know, the teams run action to get your 7-footers guarding on the perimeter. And I like how we've evolved and grown into a team that can basically switch back and get our length back at the rim, better than we were doing earlier in the season. You know, that's probably the biggest thing in terms of the evolution. But I like the way our guys have competed, and the care factor has been really high as well.
And Frank, what's the unique challenge that the Murray and Jokic screen roll action presents to any defense?
Well, they're the 2 number 1 targets on their team. You know, obviously if you double Jamal Murray the way we doubled Dame Lillard, you're putting the ball in the hands of one of the best passers in the league, and one of the most unique players in the league. So it's just not as easy to double team the way we did in Portland. But you know, they hurt you in every way that they can hurt you. You know, you do A, they do B. You do B, they do A. You know, they've been together for several years now. They have great feel for each other, And obviously it's a big challenge.
Don't want to oversimplify it, but there's obviously some corollaries between the way you guys came into each of these series with the long breaks and teams that played right up until right until 2 days before or whatever. Obviously, you guys don't want to lose another game one, but that maybe is just so obvious. Like, how much does that actually factor into your message to your guys? Like, how do you actually try to mentally guard against some of the things you might have fallen into in the last two series?
Yeah, it's the biggest message coming into tonight. We can't take any playoff game for granted. Just because we lost game one and won the last two series doesn't mean that there's not great importance to winning tonight's game. And everything that we've done over the last couple days to prepare and go over every little thing we can with regard to the Denver Nuggets and what we have to do to win this game in this series has carried great importance. So it is a big part of today's message that this is a very important game.
All right, just going to knock on wood back here in the green room, Gieter, because we're going to talk about injuries. There haven't really been any or many throughout this playoff run for the Lakers. Now, Deion Waiters does remain out. That is kind of the exception with the groin.
LeBron James picking up his league record 16th All-NBA selection. Giannis, Harden, AD, his 4th All-NBA selection. Luka Doncic, already All-NBA first team. Impressive first selection. The first Lakers duo to make an All-NBA first team since guess who? Kobe and Shaq in 2003. LeBron was humbled by his record-breaking 16th All-NBA team honor.
I just, like I said in my post, when I posted about it, I said I'm truly blessed. Kind of at a loss for words. I've been fortunate enough to be able to take care of my body, push my body to the limits that maybe at times when I was younger, maybe didn't think I could get to, but I never put a ceiling on what I can do in this league. So I think one of the things I pride myself on is being available to my teammates, and it's allowed me to sit here at this point and talk about what we're talking about now. And then anytime I'm linked with some of the GOATs that's played this game, it's just an unbelievable thing. Like you said, you mentioned Timmy D, Kareem, you mentioned Kobe as well. Just some of the GOATs that's played this game that paved the way for myself, and hopefully I'll leave it when I'm done with my career in a better place than when I started because of what they did and the groundwork that they did and the examples that they set. So, just blessed to be a part of this.
It's always an honor to be on an All-NBA team, even more first team. So that's always an honor, but, we know what the bigger goal is, especially for me, is to win a championship. Anytime, I can get, other awards along the way, it's definitely an honor. Not too many people can say that they've been first team, let alone an All-NBA team, and I've been able to do that several times. So it's been an honor for me, and then. But we can't, I can't lose, track and get excited about that and not, remember, what the ultimate goal is. I think, having a championship trumps everything, every other award. And so, that's kind of been, my mindset.
Animation, even when you're working remotely. Time for Brez's three-point play with our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan. 3 things that you're looking forward to, Brez, in Game 1. Lakers defense has been stifling, and if you didn't know, Brez, go ask Dame and James Harden.
Yeah, no doubt. They're kind of making these opponents pretty miserable, Geet. You look at a team like Portland, they were 3rd in offense during the regular season. A team like Houston, they were number 6 in the NBA in offensive efficiency. Lakers really shut both those teams down. Houston, in its last 3 games, Geet, averaged 99 points. That's not going to win much, especially against a talented Laker offense. So Lakers definitely need to keep doing exactly what they're doing defensively. It's not necessarily AD blocking a ton of shots or an energized LeBron. It's other guys as well. Let's not forget Rondo. It seemed like he picked James Harden clean almost every single game. Danny Green doing some good stuff, plus 35 the last time the Lakers played a game. Good stuff from him. And, of course, Kuzma, very good defensive effort throughout these playoffs so far.
Yeah, Brez, team defense absolutely outstanding during this playoff run. Okay, give me a team stat, Brez, that you're going to be following closely in this series and why it matters.
Points in the paint. Right now, the Lakers lead all playoff teams, and it's kind of a landslide, too. Almost 50 points a game right there in the lane for the Lakers. Denver, not so much. They are 13th in the paint in scoring. So the Lakers need to kind of keep that mindset they had against Houston. Obviously, a different lineup. Houston very undersized, as we talked about almost ad nauseum. But Denver, not really as big as the Lakers. You got Jokic at 6'10". You got Michael Porter Jr. at 6'10". No real legit 7-footer there. So maybe AD and JaVale and Dwight can kind of lean into these guys, get real physical, kind of make them work defensively, get a lot of points going down low yet again in that paint.
Brez, number 3, LeBron James, year 17. He's activated, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing all right, isn't he? I love what he had to say about such a blessing it was to be first-team All-NBA yet again. And the thing I liked about this last series for him, he did not average that triple-double like he did in the first round against Portland. He didn't need to. I really appreciated what he did defensively. There was that one game where he had 4 block shots in 1 quarter, and he was very smart. He did a lot of this against, again, a very undersized Houston defense, really made him pay in the paint. Kind of decreased a lot of his mid-range game stuff. He was shooting either threes or kind of attacking the paint, really making Houston pay. Would like to see more of that from him for sure against a slightly taller and, let's face it, better defensive team in the Denver Nuggets.
Brez, apparently you have a Western Conference bonus point. Is that true?
Yeah, we're starting the conference finals. Got to come up with a little something extra. We got a 4th point here, Geet. We talked about it earlier on one of these shows, and it's kind of some cool coincidences between the 2009 Lakers, who made it to the championship to play, of course, the Denver Nuggets, and, of course, the current day Lakers. There it is right there. All right,
there
round
it
2.
is.
Defeated the Rockets in both times in the second round. Conference finals, defeated the Nuggets 11 years ago. Here they are again playing the Nuggets. 11 years ago, they won the championship in Orlando. Of course, they beat the Magic in 5 games. And yet again, here they are, the championship. They could be in it in a couple weeks in that same city of Orlando. One last little thing. Kobe Bryant, 11 years ago, won that 4th NBA championship. LeBron James going for his 4th NBA ring.
I like it, Brez. Extra bonus point. We'll be looking at that. We appreciate you. We'll hear from you later. 4-point play from Brez. Make a new animation. All right. Good job, Brez. Straight ahead on Access Sportsnet. Lakers, LeBron's former teammate, Richard Jefferson, joins us to discuss a big matchup in the West Finals.
Welcome to Burrito Land.
Rajon Rondo, his back has been acting up a little bit, we know, in the bubble, but he is cleared to go and will play off the bench. So that's all you got on the injury front. Let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. And we hope Annie was listening because the entire building went, ah, when you said that wonderful
She
thing.
wasn't. I texted her to see if she was there. She wasn't.
Gosh, we'll have to do it again in the postgame. Good try, though, Mike. We appreciate
All right,
you.
bud, appreciate
All right, plenty more ahead here on Access Sportsnet Lakers as we look inside the bubble. Rajon Rondo. Mike said he's playing 10.6 points per game, 44% from 3, 7 assists per game versus the Rockets. Those are good numbers. And coming up on Access, LeBron and AD both got named All-NBA First Team. Ahead, we'll hear from them on the award. We'll bring in our First Team insider to break down tonight's matchup as well. Brez. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is at 6. Lakers taking on the Nuggets. And then Sunday, 4:30, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Game 5, and so on. It's the Nuggets and it's the Lakers in the conference finals. Remember, they met back in 2009. Let's go over and visit with Allie Clifton and our very special guest, Richard Jefferson.
That's right. Thanks so much, Geeter. We welcome in live from the NBA bubble. He's an NBA champion, ESPN analyst, a host of the Road Trippin' podcast here on Spectrum Sportsnet, Richard Jefferson. And Richard, we got a lot to talk about because it was 48 hours ago that the Lakers learned of their conference finals opponent, the Denver Nuggets. They earned it, game on. But it was also then that you took to Twitter to give your series prediction. And a lot of Laker Nation, probably all of Laker Nation, have turned their heads a bit. So in case you forgot, let's show what that series prediction is right now. You took to Twitter and you said Nuggets in 7. You then shouted out Jamal Murray saying, you know what? I'll be the first media person to say it. Now go prove me right. Richard, here it is. Why the Nuggets in 7?
Well, I believe in the Denver Nuggets. And what's so funny is that, I feel like I got a lot less followers on Instagram and Twitter. Like my following just started to decrease because of it. But I believe in the Denver Nuggets. This is a team that was a 2 seed. They were a 3 seed this year. They're a very talented team. I'm not focused on how they've started series, but more of how they finished them. And I believe them. I think Jokic is going to be a problem. Now, somebody asked me, they go, would you bet your house on it? And I was like, no, I wouldn't even bet my car on it, and I have a couple of them, but I still want to see the Denver Nuggets, and I believe they have the talent to pull it off.
Look, because you brought up social media, I want to go there first really quick, because series predictions are opinions, and you are entitled to your opinion. So how would you describe what those DMs looked like for yourself?
Oh, they were not very nice. A lot of people questioning my devotion to Bron and my relationship. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, this is not a betting show. I'm not out here trying to make money. I'm just merely giving my opinion, thinking that the Denver Nuggets pose a problem that the Lakers have yet to face. You can double team James Harden and let Russell Westbrook shoot. You can double team Dame Lillard and force someone else to beat you. If you double team Jamal Murray, who's been scoring 40s and 50s, now you're putting the ball into their best player's hands, Jokic, who's been carving apart everyone, especially in the second half of these series as they progress.
And look, here's the thing. I know many people may have forgot that you finished your career in Denver alongside the Nuggets dynamic duo right now of Nikola and Jamal. But what is it specifically for them as a team that they have shown you that gives you that much confidence that they can make it on to the finals?
Well, my thing is this, the way they have played, especially finishing these series, look, they lost game 1 against the Clippers. They were exhausted after a 7-game series against Utah. So I don't really look at that game. And then after that, it's the perseverance that they've showed coming back from double digits down in each of the final 3 games to win. That is something special and unique. And look, Jamal Murray wants people to believe in him. I'll be the first one.
Okay, so enough about the Nuggets. This is the Lakers Network. So I want to flip the script and talk about the Lake Show. However, I do have to ask you, what is it you need to see more of them that you haven't seen here already in the postseason to give you confidence that they can and are capable of getting the job done and moving on?
Well, this is what I'm saying. They've played against extremely talented players, but this is the first time that there is a combination. Like I said, you can double team James Harden and force Russell Westbrook into shots and other players into beating you. You can double team Dame Lillard and then scramble against the rest of the Portland Trailblazers. This team, when you double team Jamal Murray, and if you don't double team him, he's capable of going through 40s and 50s like he did in Game 7. But if you do double team him, now all of a sudden you have Jokic, who is the best passing center we have ever seen. He is making floaters, he is hitting divers, he is hitting people for wide open shots. So that is a defensive problem that the Lakers have yet to prove in this postseason, because they haven't played against them yet, that they can stop. Because once the Nuggets figure it out, they become a very, very big problem.
You're really doing well at backing up your point of the Nuggets in 7. But let's talk about the Lakers dynamic duo. And I want to first talk about Anthony Davis. This is his first Western Conference Finals, but he's been dominant in the postseason, and he has dominated his specific matchup with Nikola Jokic in the Nuggets this season. But I do want to ask you this, because we know that the Nuggets offense, it predicates themselves on Nikola in that pick and roll situation. Do you think we see AD at the 4 or more at the 5 here in this series?
Well, it's well documented that AD does not like playing the 5. But one thing that I was always taught If you want to get to some place you haven't gotten before, you're going to have to do something you most likely have never done before. So he's going to have to play more 5, or he's going to have to be the biggest guy on the court. We don't have to call it a center. He could just be the world's tallest 4-man. But ultimately, I think he's going to do a good job on the defensive end and on the offensive end.
Richard, I know that you want to continue talking, but we've been told we've got to let you go. So we will. We appreciate your time. And hey, by the way, I'm sure LeBron James has heard your take. Nuggets in 7. It is the Nuggets. It's the Lakers coming up in about 30 minutes or so. And hey, by the way, Giannis Antetokounmpo was named the league's MVP earlier today. As if the King needed any more added motivation, we'll see what he brings here in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. And next on Access, the Joker has been incredible in the playoffs. Up next, Big Shot breaks down what makes him so difficult of a matchup.
From a sore left groin. LeBron and AD were both selected to the All-NBA first team. It's the first time a pair of teammates have been selected to the first team since 2006, and the first time Laker teammates have been selected to the first team since Kobe and Shaq in 2004. AD was also selected to All-Defensive first team for the second time in his career. The NBA MVP was announced today. The winner was Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. I get it, guys. The numbers, amazing. 85 first-place votes to 16. That is just curious to me. I know they had the best record. I get he's the reigning MVP, and I get he's so talented. But I'm just curious what former players like you two think, because most players and coaches that you talk to still say this is LeBron's league. We're picking LeBron, even Kawhi, and a healthy KD before Giannis. What about you?
You know,
it's a regular season award.
It's always so weird to me. You know, I compare. This is the one time we'll compare LeBron to MJ. It's like if you go around the league and you say take a player, every player is going to say LeBron, 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 and that's so disappointing that he has to sit back because he's LeBron James. He's won all these MVPs, and the media, the people who vote for this don't want to give him an MVP because his body of work this season was better than his body of work last season. Giannis' body of work from the season was the same, and that's what upsets me when they do this voting. It's like, you need to go above and beyond what you did last season. If you completed the same last season, you don't deserve MVP in my eyes. It's just like, you know, Steve Nash won it the second time when Kobe should have won. I'm like, he did the exact same thing. He didn't bring anything different to the game. Look at what LeBron did. He led the league in assists. He brought something different to the game, and that's my whole point. You just can't let a guy rest on his laurels and say, okay, he did this last season. Do something different. Impress me.
I think Rob brings up such a great point, James, and that's why I asked you guys. I think players and coaches just have a different perspective. I think that's why who you guys pick has a lot more meaning than the writers, and it always has. I mean, it's amongst your peers, right?
Yeah, I wish they could change it, the deadline, to like maybe after the conference finals.
Wouldn't that be nice?
You know, it's almost like you're starting a race. You pull up, you know, a little short. You don't finish the race, but yet because you put forth a good effort and your numbers are really good, like your speed was really good, but you didn't actually finish the race, did they still give it to you? I think you fall in love with the numbers. And there's a lot to be said about the character of the person. Not to say that Giannis doesn't deserve it or that he doesn't have character, but LeBron's makeup is totally different and it's more elite than Giannis's. Leadership, his record, the way he bounces back from, adversity, the way he leads. Giannis is yet to demonstrate that yet, So I agree with Rob. You can't be the same player. He hasn't led any better last year than he did this year. So the most valuable player, there's a lot of ingredients that go into that. And it can't be just numbers and talent. And, so that's my take on it. Congratulations to Giannis. Of course, I think, LeBron has done more and has had more impact in the league and with every team he's been with. Currently, he's doing it with the Lakers. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but, what can I say?
I'm not
Rob
a little disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah,
Cubs were first place last year, first place again. Lakers were 12th. Now they're first.
Yeah.
Big difference. All right, the duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have been ridiculous in the postseason. They're averaging over 52 points a game. Both are shooting 50% or better from the field. Murray, ridiculous 49% from three. Jokic also averaging 10.8 rebounds and 6 assists. Rob, you look at those numbers. He's so skilled. He's one of the best passing big men we've ever seen. He can shoot. He hits the floater. Break it down. How do the Lakers defend him? Little access receiver.
Well, you know, when you have to defend greats, it can't be by one person. It has to be by committee. And because Jokic is going to get his number, Murray's going to get him. But in his Access 360, I'm going to show you what makes this guy great. So right here, you see he gets a rebound. He kicks it out to Jamal. You know, I'm just going to lumber on down and wait and see what's developing. Now I'm going to set this pick. And this is where the Clippers are trying to, double team this. But Jamal's like trying to assess. He slips this pick. He goes to him. Look, this is a funny thing. Look, they know their assignments. I got a cutter. I got a guy who's going to stay and spot up. He hits it to the guy who's spotting up. This guy right here, Harris, we hadn't talked about him, but it's very dangerous for Denver. Now you see it's another pick and roll. He goes, wait. I'm going to pick it. You know what you're going to do? You're going to drop and recover. I'm going to see what you're going to do. All right, the big is up. You see the Clipper big is up. Back up. I got to help again. I'm going to go out here. Look, now Jokic has the ball. Wait. He's very patient. He lets the lane clear. He make his move. He goes up. Stay down on him because he has all the up and on like Kevin McHale. Sorry, James, I had to say that. And then up and over with the left-hand hook. Now you're coming down. Look, he's handling the ball. He's coming down. He's running. Look, he uses a little burst of speed. How many times you see bigs do a little hesitation, dribble, and go? Now the Clippers like, you know what, Paul George said, I'm going to come down here because I'm playoff P. And I'll playoff P. I'm going to slip you and give it right here to the cutter. And look at Harris with little layup. You see, that's the thing. The cutters are phenomenal. Here, he handed off a little pick and roll action. He's still waiting. Look, the patience he has on offense. He just goes. And think about him. He doesn't get pushed off from the block like a lot of bigs. He anchors down right to the block. Now he got all these guys. This is my favorite pass of all time right there because defense is relaxed. You get a cutter who's looking for that ball. Next thing you know, over the top, the cutter's like, wow, I'm getting laid up on. And that's what makes him dangerous because he can shoot, he can pass, and he can bring the rock up and start the offense.
He's got a lot of heart. 6-0 in elimination games. AD always rises to the occasion when he plays guys like Jokic and Gobert, playing in his first Western Conference final. What are you telling him, James?
Well, I mean, AD's going to do what he has to do. I mean, you have to make Jokic play a little defense. You can't allow him to just roam because, he doesn't have in speed. He's a player that outthinks the defense. There's not too many players that can do that. When he gets that ball in the middle, he knows what a defense. Those little hesitation passes are incredible. But you have to occupy him. I think, Dwight Howard, they're going to have some step-ins, on offense. Go at him. Make him, play some defense. McGee, AD for sure, is a guy that can put it on the floor and, make Jokic a little bit vulnerable. And I think that's something that was missing in the last series. You let him, just kind of roam and don't make him play defense, put him in positions where he's got to play post defense. The other thing is, too, thank goodness we have a defensive player of the year, Dwight Howard, who knows how to play post defense. With all these three-point shooters and, the game has changed, you don't find too many old school players. Jokic is an old school post-up player, but you don't find too many good post-up defensive players. That's going to be key.
All right, good stuff, guys. We're getting closer to tip-off. Game 1, AD has been great in the playoffs. He's lit up the Nuggets all year. He averages 29 and 9 against Denver during the regular season. More of that, please. And next on Access, if you missed the second round of the playoffs with Purple and Gold, we got you covered. Top plays from the Lakers-Rockets series coming up next.